What you're about to hear could be disturbing.
On this hand, you have Hunter Biden, a train wreck who did drugs, lied on a form trying to buy a gun, and didn't declare income. On this hand, you have Matt Gaetz, who did drugs and paid underage teenage girls to do drugs with him, then have three-way sex with him and his pervy buddy, who then eventually testified against him.
Dick pics.
I think I'm going to wash this hand.
Sex charges against me.
This is Speaker Mike Johnson, who said,
"It doesn't matter that Hunter Biden is a private citizen. Congress needs to investigate to the fullest extent possible."
Which they already did and found squat.
With all due respect, the Republicans need better investigators because they've got a lot of circumstantial evidence, but they have not shown that Joe Biden profited personally or that he broke any rules.
But when it comes to investigating Rapey McForehead, who when he wasn't hanging around your daughter's junior high, he was plying them with coke and peeling off their clothes, allegedly, well, now Mike Johnson adopts a different tone.
Matt Gaetz is a private citizen. Congress should not investigate a private citizen.
You see, this whole investigation was never about Hunter. It was an attack on Joe Biden, which, as you heard Steve Ducey from Fox say, was all complete bullshit.
Tonight, what Republicans swore up and down was true turns out to be a lie.
And Biden's pardon for his son culminates a 5-year attack on Hunter with the only intent to harm his father.
I am relieved and thrilled that he did it. I think this was one of those cases that called out for clemency. Hunter Biden, first of all, would not have ever been prosecuted for the gun crime but for his last name. Second of all, he was addicted, and that was a cause of his actions. He has now been sober for many years, and this is a time when it is really appropriate for a grant of clemency.
Okay, that woman was a former Watergate prosecutor. Agree or disagree, but this is true. Hunter Biden was never an elected official. He was a pawn for these two mopes. And it's true that Biden said he wouldn't pardon his son, but he obviously didn't expect this insane mope to be running the FBI.
I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops.
We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
But Johnson's hypocrisy doesn't end there. Attacking Biden's pardon of Hunter smells like Trump's diapers on a hot day in Florida. Let's forget about the sex charges just for a second.
He likes beautiful women, and many of them are on the younger side.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not.
Trump granted clemency and pardons for dozens of lowlifes, like Paul Manafort for financial fraud, Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. election, and conspiring to obstruct the investigation. Michael Flynn, the former national security advisor who tried to get Trump to stop the 2020 election and seize voting machines, pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI over contacts with a Russian official. And Jared's dad, Charles Kushner, an amazing sleazeball who was convicted of tax evasion and witness tampering.
The father-in-law of Mr. Trump's daughter, Ivanka. Charles Kushner is a real estate mogul who Trump pardoned in 2020 after he went to prison for criminal charges, including tax evasion.
But catch this. Jared's dad, Charles Kushner, tried to blackmail his own brother after finding out his brother-in-law was cooperating with federal authorities in an investigation related to him. Kushner hired a hooker and tricked his brother into meeting her at a hotel in New Jersey where a hidden camera and a recording set captured the whole wah, wah, wah. He then sent the recording to the man's wife, who was Kushner's sister, and Trump just nominated him as a U.S. ambassador to France. Now, when it comes to sex crimes, Republicans love to clutch their pearls, especially when they make the shit up. Remember this delicate flower, a U.S. senator from Alabama, talking about the cartel and sex crimes here in the U.S. happening under Biden's watch?
And they sent men through that door over and over again for hours and hours on end.
All right, that horrible rape she tries to blame on Biden actually happened in Mexico when Bush was president. But it gets worse. Matt Gaetz aside, Trump is nominating a smorgasbord of pervy white guys to lead the nation.
Well, I won't pretend to speak for the entire caucus, but I will say, way to go, Joe. Let me be the first one to congratulate the president for deciding to do this, because at the end of the day, we know that we have a 34-count convicted felon that is about to walk into the White House. So for anyone that wants to clutch their pearls now because he decided that he was going to pardon his son, I would say take a look in the mirror. Because we also know that when it comes to this cabinet has more people accused of sexual assault than any incoming cabinet probably ever in the history of America. So we are living living in unprecedented times, and we know that this was completely political. As someone who serves on the Oversight Committee, this was gamesmanship the entire time.
Trump's civil judgment and defamation of a woman he raped actually plays right into his selection of those he wants in his cabinet.
And when you pick, nominee after nominee that has some sort of scandalous behavior in their background, where they've been credibly accused of either committing sexual assaults or aiding and abetting it in some way, it sends such a negative message to these survivors that if they come forward, they're not going to be believed, especially when you have people who are in charge of these enormous bureaucratic agencies like the military, who's traditionally had a problem handling sexual assault cases against women who serve. So this message, I think, sets us back not years, but many decades.
You know about Gaetz, but if you're tracking Trump's cabinet picks, you may have noticed common threads among them. Top jobs are going to people fiercely loyal to Trump, people with experience appearing on TV, but no experience directly relevant to the jobs they would be doing, and with their penis out for everyone to see. RFK and Musk both have been accused over the years for variations of sexual misconduct.
And today, as you just pointed out, those allegations came out. She was a babysitter for him in 1999, 1998. And he made some advances on her, unwanted advances on her, groped her, she says. She recorded some of this in a diary that was concurrent with the Times. Now, he was asked about it point blank today, and he said he had no comment on it, and also made some other comments that, he's no church boy, and what he did in his youth, he's got skeletons in his closet.
But Tiny Finger's nominee for heading up the Defense Department is this mope, Pete Hegseth.
I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat.
He's facing allegations of getting drunk and forcing a woman to stay in his hotel room where he assaulted her. And the allegations, not from Democrats, unless his mother's a Democrat.
Tonight, growing controversy surrounding Donald Trump's pick to lead the Defense Department. Pete Hegseth accused of routinely mistreating women for years by his own mother. In a 2018 email to her son obtained by the New York Times, Penelope Hegseth wrote, "On behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say get some help and take an honest look at yourself."
Mike Johnson is a holy roller who constantly prays in public, but at the same time supports these monsters who not only sexually attack women, but have inspired their MAGA base to do the same.
So what if he wants to grab pussy? I want to grab pussy.
This new Republican Party wants to imprison women who have abortions.
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman.
Yeah, there has to be some form.
And then mock them when they fight for these rights.
The women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions. Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb.
The old Republican Party will have to decide who they are, the party of Lincoln or the party of John Wilkes Booth.
Damn right.
I'm as mad as hell.
This is not a normal election.
Whether the women like it or not.
Suck my fat one. This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.